The final two episodes of Fire Force were honestly world-class. The animation, the emotion, the scale, everything felt like the perfect payoff to such a long journey. But at the same time, the ending leaves us with a lot of questions. Like, how did Shinra actually bring everyone back to life? Why is his mom still stuck in that demonic form even after everything? How did Excalibur suddenly become a literal living being? And most importantly, who were those kids we saw at the very end? Don't worry, in this video I'm gonna break down the Fire Force ending in a simple way so everything finally makes sense. So how did Shinra actually bring everyone back to life? The short answer is he literally rewrote reality itself. At the end of Fire Force, Shinra combines with his brother Sho and his mother Mari to become something called Shinrabanshoman. In this form, he's not just strong, he basically becomes a god. Now here's the key part. The world of Fire Force is connected to a higher realm called Adolla. This place isn't just another dimension, it's like a space made of human thoughts, emotions, and souls. And when the cataclysm happens, the real world and Adolla start merging together. Because of this, Shinra gains control over reality itself. First, he changes the very rules of the world. In the old world, death was instant and brutal. People would just burn and disappear. Shinra didn't want that kind of world anymore, so he softens reality by making death less absolute and more meaningful. Then comes the craziest part, bringing everyone back. Since Adolla contains the souls and memories of all humans, Shinra reaches into it and pulls those souls back into existence. He doesn't just heal people, he fully restores them, body and soul. But this also causes a huge shift. The serious, fire-based world of Fire Force transforms into something more stylized and soul-based, which is actually the world of Soul Eater. And you might wonder, so why did everybody lose their powers in the end? After Shinra recreated the world, he realized that the root of all suffering was the connection to Adolla, the source of all fire powers and destruction. During the cataclysm, the real world and Adolla were merging, which is why people had pyrokinetic abilities in the first place. But once Shinra became godlike and saved everyone, he made a final decision. He completely cut off that connection. By separating Adolla from the physical world, the source of those powers disappeared instantly. Instead of keeping a system based on fire and destruction, Shinra replaced it with a safer soul-based system by creating Lord Death. This means people could no longer use fire abilities, and characters like Shinra and Arthur became normal humans again. In the end, Shinra didn't just save humanity, he removed the very power system that caused all their pain, creating a peaceful new world where spontaneous combustion no longer exists. Now let's talk about one of the most emotional questions. Why is Shinra's mom still in that demonic form even after everything? The answer is actually pretty deep, and kind of bittersweet. First, Shinra's mom Mari wasn't just a normal infernal. She had a very special role connected to Adolla. She basically became what the story calls a holy mother, someone deeply tied to the core of that entire realm. So when Shinra recreated the world, he could bring people back. But Mari wasn't just someone anymore. She had become a part of that system itself. In simple terms, she became a foundation of the new world. But here's the emotional side of it. Even though she still looks like a demon, she's no longer suffering. She's finally at peace. And more importantly, Shinra never saw her as a monster. That's the whole point. Instead of turning her back into a normal human, the story shows us something different: acceptance. Shinra loves her exactly as she is, and this also fits the new world he created. In this new reality, things are more symbolic and less strict. Being a monster doesn't automatically mean something bad anymore. That's why characters and concepts become more weird and abstract, like talking weapons and living symbols. So Mari staying in that form is actually a message. She represents everything they went through, but now without pain. She's no longer a victim of the flames. She's at peace with her family. And in Shinra's eyes, she was never a monster to begin with. Now let's talk about Excalibur, because yeah, that was weird. How did a sword suddenly become a living, talking being? The answer comes down to Shinra changing the rules of reality itself. Throughout the story, Arthur's power was always based on his imagination. The more he believed he was a knight, the stronger he became. His delusions literally shaped his strength.
and during the final battle, his belief got so strong that it started affecting reality itself. So when Shinra became godlike and recreated the world, he took that idea, where imagination can shape reality, and made it a permanent rule. He also wanted the new world to feel less dark and more fun and unpredictable. So instead of a serious, realistic world, he added a bit of absurdity into it. And that's where Excalibur comes in. Arthur never saw his sword as just a weapon. To him, it was a legendary companion. So when Shinra rebuilt the world, that belief became real. The sword didn't just exist anymore, it gained its own personality and became a living being. And yeah, that's also why it's so annoying. Excalibur's over-the-top behavior is basically a reflection of that weirdness Shinra added to the world. In the old world, everything was tragic. In the new world, even a legendary weapon can be loud, dramatic, and kinda ridiculous. So in a way, Excalibur becoming alive isn't random at all. It's proof that in this new world, imagination is reality.
And finally, who were those kids we saw at the very end? This is actually one of the biggest clues that connects everything. Those kids are basically part of the new world Shinra created, the same world that eventually becomes Soul Eater. Now remember, Shinra didn't just reset things back to normal, he built a completely new reality with different rules, a world where souls matter more than fire, and where things are a lot more weird and symbolic. So those kids, they represent the next generation of this new world. In a deeper sense, they're early versions of the kind of people we see in Soul Eater. Humans who live in a world where supernatural things are normal, where weapons can be alive, and where madness and personality shape reality. That's why their designs and vibe feel a little different compared to the original Fire Force world. They're basically a glimpse into the future, showing us that Shinra's new world is stable, alive, and moving forward. And when you connect the dots, that future is the beginning of Soul Eater. So the ending is literally setting up an entirely new story. So yeah, that's the Fire Force ending explained in a simple way. It's literally a complete reset of the world, turning a dark story about fire and destruction into something way more hopeful and unique. And honestly, the more you think about it, the more details you start to notice. But here's the thing, the anime actually skipped and rushed a lot of stuff, especially in the final arc, the Great Cataclysm arc. There's a lot more depth, context, and crazy moments in the manga that completely change how you see the ending. So if you really want the full experience, make sure to check out my complete narration of the Great Cataclysm arc. I've broken it all down in detail, and trust me, it hits very different compared to the anime. And I'll see you there.